find I'm doing a lot of waving these days. Waving at neighbours passing by, waving at the camera to say hello, maybe a while before we get back to embracing each other or even shaking hands with the same freedom as before. So waving will have to do for now. Unless, of course, we were to bow to each other. We don't bow very much in our Hiberno-Anglo-Saxon culture. To bow is a sign of something more than friendliness, more than respect even. It's a gesture of reverence. And we've learned to distrust the idea of reverence. We think of it as tipping the forelock. And we remember throughout history all the people and institutions and ideas that were revered only to prove themselves unworthy of the reverence because they abused it. We are quite reasonably on guard against the threat of such abuses. So we withhold our reverence. We don't bow. We limit ourselves to a friendly or respectful nod. Not risking too much, just. So I'm sure I'm not the only one who was taken aback when he first discovered in the early Buddhist texts that the Buddha regarded reverence as not just a good thing, but an absolute necessity. And he didn't declare that as some great truth that he'd just discovered. He simply stated it as a self-evident fact of life, something his audience would have taken for granted. If dwelling without reverence or deference, one suffers, he said. In fact, it was a problem for him. Having attained to transcendental wisdom, he couldn't find anyone to whose wisdom he could defer. Nobody in the world, as he said, in dependence on whom he could dwell. Even a Buddha had to revere. So have we got over the need to revere? Hardly. We may not call it reverence, but it comes out in all kinds of different ways. Maybe at Croke Park or the Aviva when we stand for the national anthem. Maybe in our devotion to Beethoven or Leonard Cohen or Rihanna or the 1975 or whoever. Maybe when we fall in love, or when we see a baby being born, or when we get caught unawares by the sun coming out from behind a cloud. We all have these moments when we stand in awe of what is greater than us, what points away beyond our powers of comprehension. We stand in awe and we feel the need to express that. So we light a candle in the window or at the shrine. We put flowers on the table or at the grave. We fly the flag, put the poster on the wall, wear the t-shirts. All these rituals, all these expressions of reverence or of the yearning to revere, because if not dwelling in reverence, one suffers. And the fact that our reverence can be exploited or abused is not a reason to stop revering. On the contrary, to revere is to recognize our human limitations and to reach out towards what transcends those limitations. An American philosopher, Paul Woodruff, has written of how in ancient cultures a deep awareness of human limitations and reverence for what transcends them was valued on the one hand because it taught people to respect each other with all each other's flaws and shortcomings, and on the other hand because people in authority who understood their limitations, who were in awe of something greater, were less likely to behave like gods in the sense of abusing their power. Rather than curb our reverence, we need to refine it and direct it where it can't be abused. The Buddha pointed the way to the ultimate refinement. He resolved to direct his reverence towards the truth, the ultimate truth that he had realized. He had awakened to the truth of things, of the universe, of our experience of the universe, and he had spent his life guiding others towards their awakening, and yet he would go on revering it himself. So if now I bow to you and you return the gesture, or even imagine yourself returning it, we'll be acknowledging our own limitations together, and together practicing reverence for what goes beyond those limitations. We'll be partaking in our small way in the practice that the Buddha vowed to pursue. We'll be following the practice of a Buddha.